This is the footprint left by the giant called history. Several huge stone pillars lined up close to collapsing. The bottom is covered with countless faded stone slabs. The broken arch is tilted, but it still remains here after a long time. Numerous tomb-like remains and priests' residences were gradually eroded by bare soil, raised stones and sporadic plants, and now they have gradually become a part of nature. This scene is quite majestic, but also a little lonely. It is noteworthy that the ruins are all over a lake. This is an island floating on the waters of a beautiful emerald lake in a huge depression surrounded by steep outer mountains. Ruins of the city of Orza. In northwest Ororio, the vast ruins built into the lake in the depression to the west of the Beer Mountains, will also be the name of the battleground that will become the scene of this war game. Its origins go back at least 2,000 years. This was once a fortress city that fought the monsters that emerged from the Big Hole. With its geographical location, first of all, there will be no shortage of water sources, while the depression lake is also a natural moat, which can prevent the invasion of monsters. It is said that through the work of elves and dwarves, the island achieved self-sufficiency, so the city grew and continued until powerful monsters came flying. It has now become a deserted relic, and there is a row of remnants of city walls and towers at the edge of the entire island that forms a distorted oval. In the uneven terrain, many slopes and completely collapsed buildings can be seen everywhere. Even after a long time, it still portrays the appearance of a small town under the city. Among them, located at the extreme west of the island, the ruins that are a circle larger than the others are a sanctuary. In ancient times, before the advent of the gods, people who lived under severe threat from monsters worshipped the gods in the air and sought salvation. In Orza, a land that has a deep relationship with the elves, people call this temple the House of God, enshrining statues of more than one god. Among the objects of their belief, there are also goddesses who are in charge of beauty. The cold wind is howling and clouds can be seen everywhere, but as you can see, the clear sky is very clear. Presumably on the mountain battlefield, where the weather is changeable, today will be good weather suitable for war. Good morning and half-day everyone. This time, the person in charge of transmitting the war game is also himself, the talking flame mage Ibriachar, who belongs to the Ganesha family. The nickname, Flame Explosion Flame, is omitted below. I am Ganesha. The commentary is also still in charge of Ganesha-sama. The scene of the ruins of Orza in the land of Ororio, which is far away, is displayed by the mirror. The mirror of God, for observing the distance, was properly configured. Gendar Maria Urbana, under the leadership of the Ganesha family, the two are conducting live commentary. However, unlike the war game with the Apollo Familia, held 5 months ago, the city seems to have forgotten what fanaticism is and is very quiet. The adventurers sitting in the tavern came to the avenue to look into the mirror, including the gods gathered in the skyscraper. They all showed nervous expressions before the battle started. Well, then dash. This time it's faction war, which is also a special case in Ororio. Known as the strongest in the city, Freya Familia, will fight against the coalition forces led by Hestia Familia. And the theme this time, the wrong type, is seek, find, God and enlightenment. The only ones who were extremely noisy were the two people in charge of transmitting and explaining. In the hall of the guild hall, Ibri, who was broadcasting, held a loudspeaker made of magic stones in one hand and was screaming non-stop. Please allow me to omit the detailed rules. Whoever finds the god first is the winner. Each family hides the main god in the ruins of the city of Orza, and the families are responsible for finding it. That's it. It's real hide and seek. Is this Ganesha? As Master Ganesha said, this is certainly no simple hide-and-seek. This is great melee combat where you can muddle or fight when you encounter the enemy's family. To protect the main god, or to meet the opponent's god, there must be several rivers of blood and countless weapon tombs here. This is by no means a metaphor. A total of 47 familiars participate, and over 800 fight in this great war. No matter what the rules were, what awaited them was a blood-for-blood battle. Hearing Ibri's explanation, people without exception gasped. But Freya Familia. All hostile major gods must be found, and the victory condition for the coalition forces is to find the goddess Freya. I think this is very partial to the coalition forces, and I always think it is unfair. What is your opinion on this, Lord Ganesha? To be honest, a little more concession isn't much. Is Master Ganesha's serious reply coming? The voice of the live commentary, which was quite different from the city's atmosphere, resounded throughout, and the people who stayed in Orario showed various expressions in their respective locations. Belkuan. Asphai floated in the guild hall near the ceiling. Aina, who could only pray, was suffering from anxiety, and her classmate Misha was gently cuddling up to her like this. According to this rule, not only can you not fly in the air to find the location of the gods, so you must be banned. Is this the case? To be precise, they're flying boots, that's all. Some guys already knew about this flying magic item before, but because of the incident where you invaded Lady Freya's base with Hestia, it became a well-known fact. Still you can't accept it. It's useless to make noise now. Except for the forbidden flying boots, other magic items were provided to Lilaruka Arti. Now I can only trust her, and them. On the 30th floor of the Tower of Babel, Asphai, who was mixed with other gods, frowned, while Hermes shrugged. I know you might be in pain, but, shall we watch it together? Tioni sitting on the bench, Gareth with thick arms across his chest, Riveria with one eye closed and Finn licking his fingertips, all watched in the mirror. There is only a moment left for the war to begin. It's so big. Facing the group of ruins that not even a senior adventurer's eyesight can clearly see, I muttered. The east side is the position of our allied forces, the west side is Freya's family, right? This is a corner of the outer ring mountain, where you can have a panoramic view of the ruins of the city of Orza. From the top of the cliff you can see the entire panorama of the lagoon, which is a superb view. In this situation and came here for a walk, I would definitely be amazed by the water of the lake that radiates blue light and transforms into the kingdom of heaven. This is my second visit to Beer Mountain. This place called Beer Depression is located on the west side of the sea, and it is completely opposite the Ida's village that Deasama, Miss A's, and I got lost and invaded when the royal army invaded. It was unexpected that such spectacular scenery could be found at such a distance which could be reached in a few hours with Miss Haruheim on her back, a place that wouldn't be too heavy for advanced adventurers. It is said that the Freya family entered the ruins this morning. The goddess must have gone into hiding somewhere on the west side. I followed the path pointed out by Ms. Naza, who was standing on the cliff. In the direction, I saw that there was a huge half-destroyed temple in ruins at the position where the battlefield was divided in two. The rules stipulated the hiding areas of the main gods of the two parties. The coalition army is on the east side and Freya's family is on the west side. As long as it's within the area, the gods can hide anywhere. Whether in the tower next to the waterfront, or in the central area where there is no shelter. This urban relic is large enough to easily accommodate a labyrinthine city division. It can be quite troublesome to find a pillar of God here. I began to make psychological preparations for this when I came to inspect the battlefield. But, I never expected to play a war game in such vast ruins. There are about 50 families participating, so what I mean is very reasonable. Mr. Mayak, who came to investigate with me, said, and then Mrs. Naza helplessly squeezed her hair that was teased by the wind, and replied like this. These urban ruins, floating in a huge lake, so to speak, it's a bit like learning and selling from Mr. Mayak, is also like a complete world in itself. The ancient fortress city has become a battlefield, and today we will face our most powerful enemy. Thank you very much. It's done. Let's go back. Controlling my tension, I turned with Mr. Mayak and Ms. Naza. Go down the long steep slope and return to the camp. There is only one bridge on the south side of the remains of Orza city located in the south of the Depression Lake, and the side of the bridge is the camp of the coalition forces. They say that, in addition to Mrs. Haroheim and I who practiced until the last moment, many other adventurers entered the group of tents set up by the guild and Ganesha Familia, a few days ago. By the way, Freya, Familia, it seems to be the ruins of the city that crossed the lake from the side north of the lake in a small boat. After the start of the war game, this camp will become a first aid post for the wounded who leave the camp, and Dien Sect Familia members can be seen everywhere. I feel like the props aren't enough. Hey, does anyone have any extra spares? The Mayak family are all ready. Go to the male god to order. From Hephaestus, it's like a dream, but I still can't calm down. The camp was very noisy. Excited and strained voices danced across the sky in an endless stream. The demi-humans carefully examined the weapons, followed by companions to help place heavy equipment for the dwarves.